Are you good, Mel?
I'm good to go. Yep. We might make it just after 7. So let's get cranking.
All right, excellent. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. We're very glad that you're here. We have a special guest to share some very, very special information with you this evening. I assure you this is something you've never heard of before. You've never seen or heard of anything like this before. This is a technology that will amaze you and be very important to yourself and to your loved ones. We're joined here this evening by a very special guest speaker, and his name is Malcolm Sword. He's an industry genius, over 25 years experience in this industry, a proven global leader, mentored by industry legends, and is one of not just the fastest growing leaders in this country, but also the world, but one of the top leaders as well. He's an ASEA Ambassador Diamond. Could you please help me in welcoming Malcolm Sword to the call? Thank you so much for being here, sir.
You have to call me sir. Thanks, Stevie. Thanks for the introduction, and thank you again for looking after the technology that runs this. So thank you very much, appreciated. And good evening, everyone. This is our second round. So I started the first one at 6 o'clock, and my aim was to finish it at 22, and I missed it by about 5 minutes. So I'm going to try and see if we can finish this by about 20 minutes, in about 40 minutes time. So let's just get started. So we're going to introduce you if you're here for the first time. If you've been invited onto this webinar by somebody for the first time, welcome. And we want to share with you what many of us believe, many scientists in the world believe, is the greatest scientific and medical breakthrough of our time. And this is not Mal Sword saying that I don't have the authority medically to make that statement, but some of the world's leading scientists, and in fact, Dr. Gary Samuelson, an atomic medical physicist, has made that statement. And in a webinar, an interview recently, about 6 months ago, said that he believes this technology will represent the greatest medical breakthrough possibly for the next 100 years to come. Not the 100 years past, but 100 years to come. So let's go through some information, and I'll get through it as quickly as I can. There's quite a lot to get through. This is a referral-based business model. It was designed that way. It is the best way of moving a technology to market. This is a highly disruptive, transformational technology. There is nothing like this on the planet. It is unique. We have no competitor in this space. You can't put it on a shelf anywhere because there's no category for it. So this is something that for many years was deemed impossible to produce, to stabilize. In fact, the process took over 1990, I think they started, and was stabilized around 1997, so about 16, 17 years, and $17 million in the research to develop this and stabilize this. That emanated from 1990, I think, when 3 leading scientists won the Nobel Prize for understanding what redox signaling molecules, which is what we're going to be sharing with you this evening, what they did in the human body. Prior to that, many years ago, they believed that redox molecules were kind of a waste of, like an emission, like a waste gas, but they now know that it is absolutely fundamental to our bodies at the cellular level. So what we're going to share with you, for many of you, will allow you to generate a serious income. And a serious income for some of you might just be an extra $2,000 a month. For others on the call, it might be an extra $200,000 or $300,000 a month. And all of those are available and possible to you here as you develop this, if you are interested in developing this as a business. So you start on a part-time basis. This is a business that you begin part-time. Part-time in a business like this generally represents somewhere between 10, 12, 15 hours a week. You may have to give up something part-time. You might have to give up some television time, something else, in order to make the time available for you to be able to develop this business. Very exciting technology. We're positioned very well in the world as we go through the webinar this evening. I'll share that with you. Thank you, Stevie. So the company, ASEA, is the global leader in redox signaling-based health and anti-aging technologies. Not only is the leader, we are the only company in the world. This is the only place in the world, the only company that produces these redox signaling molecules. Very heavily patented. We have dozens and dozens of overlapping patents that will roll forward for at least the next 20 years. Interestingly, when I first met the owner of the company back in October of 2014, a gentleman I'll introduce you to in a minute, called Vertus Norton, when that statement was made, and at the end of the meeting, at the end of the time we spent in the boardroom, I asked him specifically, I said, Vertus, what happens at the end of 20 years? And he smiled at me and he said, Mal, he said, don't worry, we're rolling these patents forward. So we have a very privileged, very protected space here, very protected technology. And this is the only company in the world, it's the only place in the world that you'll find these redox signaling molecules. The only other place you'll find these redox molecules is in the human body. So we have them, and redox molecules are redox molecules. So the ones we produce in our bodies are identical to the redox signaling molecules that this company produces. Thanks, Stevie. So here are here's the gentleman I was talking about, Virtus Norton. It would be worth your while Googling this man. He is one of the most incredible human beings that I've ever met in my life. There's a very good video called The Genesis of a Seer that I would encourage you to watch, and you will get a glimpse as to the character and integrity of this man. He was the strategic vice president for Kraft Foods, an $80 billion company. Most of you will have heard of Kraft, and he was the strategic vice president. He represents one of the who's who of corporate American strategists in business. Very, very clever man, as is his son Tyler, who was also doing incredibly well in the commercial world. And they joined forces to bring this technology to market. And so, again, just go back and have a look at the genesis of a seer, and it'll explain a little bit about how this came to market. Funnily enough, what happened with Virtus was he actually retired from Kraft. He retired to Park City in Utah, and his wife had hoped that he had retired. And he was invited to sit on the board of this biotech company that was struggling to finish their research and pay for their research after an investment of around $17 million. They'd pretty much run out of funds, and they invited him to sit on the board to try and raise money, raise additional funds to continue the research and the stabilization and development of this technology. There's a story behind that and how Virtus actually came to acquire the technology, but very interesting story, and that's a great little video for you to have a look at. Thanks, Stevie. So based on many years, 10 years of research for the products were launched onto the market in the United States in 2010. This is a US-based company, US-based technology. As you can see down the bottom, they own their own production facility in Pleasant Grove, Utah. And we were actually, Danny and I were there in 2014. Incredible facility. It's so clean, you could eat off the floor. Just very significant. There's 5 people in the world, interestingly enough, that know how to produce this redox signaling molecules. They will never outsource it. It will stay inside the United States and then deliver to the world as we do at the moment. We have many warehouses now around the world, many countries. I'll share that with you in a minute. The company has had significant growth every single year. Within 9 months of operation, of commencing operations, the company was completely debt-free. It's kind of what you would expect from Virtus. Running a company like this, very strategic. We don't claim, and we won't claim to be the fastest growing company on the planet. He doesn't want that. He wants us to be the longest growing company, and we want to be around in generations to come. Very strategic how we're rolling it out, and very, very well done. Very profitable year on year. This year sales, in fact, I think last year we were pretty close to $100 million. That's US dollars in turnover. And the forecast is that we will be to $1 billion this next part. We're saying 5 years. We might even do quicker than that now that we're launching into Asia. Potential there is enormous. So commercially, what I'd like you to look at is anytime we have a company or a business like this that moves its sales volume from 100 million to $1 billion in a relatively short period of time represents massive opportunity. Couple that with a technology that is disruptive, no competitor in this space. We are perfectly positioned to do incredibly well as we deliver this to market over the next few years. Notwithstanding the product, what the product does is absolutely phenomenal, outstanding. So Aseer's perfectly positioned. Just go back 2 seconds. Sorry, Steve. I just want to read that last little bit. Sorry, mate. If you can just take me back one slide, Stevie, if you can do that. Thank you. Aseer is perfectly positioned ahead of the growth that will come in the next 3 years in the health, wellness, and anti-aging industries. 3 massive markets, trillion-dollar markets right there. And they're the markets that we operate in. So, and as I mentioned just now, we don't have a competitor in this space. So very, very unique and very exciting. Thanks, Stevie. So this next slide, you'll see some of the executives of the company, and just fine human beings. This is the most incredible company that I've ever been with. The people that represent this company are of the highest integrity, highest ethos, and I'm personally very proud to be associated with these men. I've got to know a lot of these people over the last 2 years since I've been associated with this company. on the next slide, you'll see some of the medical board that sits on the board of this company and advises to this company. And many of these people I've also come to know, outstanding human beings that are also, in many cases, helping to deliver this technology to market commercially as well. Some of them actually sold their practices to help deliver this and take this technology to market, which is very, very exciting. Thanks, Stevie. So this is a map showing the countries. Some of the countries actually are not yet highlighted in blue, but we're currently in about 32 countries. So countries we've just, as I mentioned, starting to open into the Asian region. We have 3 countries that are fully launched in Asia. That is Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Singapore. Markets fully open, fully launched. And 2 others that are in effectively pre-launch, which will launch in the next few months, the Philippines and also into Thailand. And so massive opportunity, and increasingly over the next few years, we will roll this technology into the rest of Asia. So I believe the next countries might be Malaysia and Japan. So very exciting as we roll this and move this technology into the Asian market. One of the things interesting is that even in the country where we are represented right now and shaded in blue there, that you can see, still less than 1% of the population knows anything about this technology and this product. I mentioned in the webinar previously that if you walk down the street of where you live, Main Street of where you live, and you asked 100 people, have you ever heard of redox signaling molecules? You'll be lucky to find one that will say to you, I've heard of that. Now, cast your mind back, some of you cast your mind back 20, 30 years ago, before we knew anything about antioxidants, and yet today pretty much everybody knows about antioxidants. This is a breakthrough, is far more significant than antioxidants, and in the years to come we will be known, and people around the world will know the word redox and understand what redox signaling molecules do in the human body. So you can see by that, by the shaded areas, and some of the other countries like Colombia we've opened, but still very, very early days. You are seeing this still in Australia and in Asia at a very, very early stage. You don't want to believe the company officially launched in Australia on February 2016. So we're only into this market a little over 2 years, and just really just launching. In fact, Taiwan only had their official launch last Saturday in Taiwan. So very early days, very exciting. The possibilities to be amongst the first to take this to market. Thanks, Stevie. So here we go, the 3 of the world's biggest industries that we operate in: the health and wellness market, the anti-aging market, and also the athletic market. And so over $4 trillion yearly, a significant growth year on year. And we have some of the most unique and advanced products. In fact, many are saying this technology is 15 to 20 years ahead of time. And one of the keys with this is that these products have no toxicity. And so, you know, even water that right here, which is just ordinary water out of a pump bottle, has toxins. These products have no toxins. And the anti-aging, for example, in Asia would be phenomenal. Many of the Asians love to, use products that will help them to, look younger and feel younger. And our products certainly deliver that to market with no toxicity. So we're in 3 very, very big markets. Again, over $4 trillion in these 3 industries. So we have massive potential again as we move into these huge Asian markets. Thanks, Stevie. So the products do things no other products can do, because they're only products in the world with redox signaling molecules. Absolutely. So heavily protected, heavily patented, no competitor in the space, and we won't have any competitors in this space for at least the next 20 years. So again, the only 2 places you'll ever see these redox signaling molecules are in the human body, and with this company in a bottle or a redox or a tube of Renew 28. It's the only places you're going to find these redox signaling molecules. Thanks, Stevie. So here's some evidence of what this is as a result of using these people have been using the Renew 28. The lady on the left, her name is Rydun Bone. She is a naturopath from Norway. One of the things that we recommend and encourage people to do is when you start using this product, especially on your face, is to take a before and after photo. And so fortunately, Rydun had done that. Top left of the screen, you can see clearly the photo of her neck. And after a few weeks, this was the second photo was taken after 3 weeks. And she said to the person that invited to try this product, she said, look, I don't think this is doing very much for me. And fortunately, they had a before photo, and then they compared it with a photo taken 3 weeks later, and you can see the difference visibly. Now, her skin has improved again since then. So the results are phenomenal, even in a relatively short period of time. So that photo, as I mentioned, was 3 weeks. So you can see on wrinkles, you can also see on various skin issues, skin challenges. What's interesting about this is that Renew 28, you can see visibly what it does. It's harder, obviously, to see what the supplement does because it works on the inside of the body. So the two products, one works on the inside out, which is the supplement, and the Renew 28 works from the outside in. But it's interesting, as you can see visibly what the Renew 28 does from the outside in. Well, it's the same product. You can connect the dots and understand what the supplement does from the inside out. So here's a range of the skincare products that we have. The two products on the left is a cleanser and a moisturizer. They do not contain redox molecules, and they were introduced into by this company because many of the 300,000 associates around the world were asking the company for a complete skincare regime. And so in 2016, middle of 2016, those products were introduced. The Renew 28, as I mentioned before, which is a topical gel, is 5 times more concentrated than the supplement. And then the little bottle next door to it is the Renew Advanced. That's since changed the packaging. It's now in a needle nose tube, and that is 5 times more concentrated than the Renew 28. And often I will be asked, why would I not use the Renew Advanced all over my body? Well, you can use it anywhere, other than you don't want to put those in your eyes, but it's a lot more expensive because it's a lot more concentrated. So generally people would use the Renew Advanced on if you've got a particular scar tissue you want to get help with, or on your face, and the Renew 28 you would use all over your body. Thanks, Stevie. Maybe just go to the next one. Okay, so this is the marquee product that SIA has is a supplement. Here are a number of athletes that we have in the world that are using or have used the product. The gentleman on the top left, Cody Miller, an US Olympic athlete. And bottom right of screen, Eddie Hall, who is the world's strongest man, and many other athletes that are using this product. This product will help with endurance and recovery, and it is phenomenal. What it does can't be tested for. It has no toxicity. It's not a drug. Thank goodness it's not a drug. So no toxicity. You can't be tested for it. How can you be? It's native to the human body. This just supplements what our body stops producing. So I'll cover that in a minute as to why we do need to supplement with these redox signaling molecules. Thanks, Stevie. So molecules vital to life and health. These molecules are naturally produced inside every single cell that detect cell damage so they can be repaired or replaced. Increases the cell's production of glutathione, the body's most powerful antioxidant that protects against cell damage and oxidative stress. Interestingly, if you are on antioxidants, many people take antioxidants. If you are taking antioxidants, if you couple that with redox signaling molecules, you would increase the absorption of the antioxidants by between 500% and 900%. It's phenomenal what this product will do to boost the absorption of the antioxidants, fundamental for the immune system, and protect against harmful bacteria, viruses, and infection. Thanks, Stevie. So often we'll be asked, so if I produce these redox signaling molecules in my body, why then would I need to drink, or why would I need to replenish with additional redox signaling molecules? And the answer to that is that we maximize the production in our body of these redox signaling molecules naturally at puberty. So around 12 to 13, we maximize the production of these molecules. As we age, we drop the production by about 1% per annum. So after every decade, you're dropping the production of these molecules 10%. So at my age, I'm producing naturally about 15% of what I was producing when I was at puberty. But now I can top up, I can supplement with the molecules to be exactly like and take the amount that I was producing naturally when I was at puberty. So that's the reason why we do this. And you know how kids respond when they fall over and they cut themselves when they're babies, they heal really quickly. Actually, I'll share a quick story with you because it's interesting. When I was in Singapore early last week, I was walking through a car park on the way to a meeting, and there was a patch of oil that I didn't see. and I slid over and fell on my elbow, my left elbow, and on my kind of left buttock leg, and I fell pretty heavily. And the people that were with me were kind of looking at me like, "Are you okay? You all right?" Because I did fall quite heavily. And I said, "No problems at all. I had no pain." The next morning, I woke up with no pain. I had no bruising. And the only thing I can put that down to is that I've been on this technology, on this product for 2 years. I promise you, I had no pain at all. I went to the gym the next morning and exercised on the treadmill. I didn't even give it a second thought. Only afterwards, I thought, my goodness, I have no pain from that fall at all. So another indication as to just what these molecules can do. Thanks, Stevie. So there's lots of peer-reviewed reports, articles, and books and publications on redox signaling molecules. And as you can see, there are over 17,000 peer-reviewed articles and over 1,500 books that have been published on redox signaling. I mean, some of them are very, very heavy. There's a book there on the top right, which we were given when we were in the boardroom, but it's very heavy reading unless you are like an atomic medical physicist. It's heavy work. For decades, scientists have tried to produce redox signaling molecules outside the human body because of their significant importance for health and vitality. So there were three scientists that discovered, or uncovered, I should say, exactly what these redox signaling molecules did in the human body. Around 1990, they actually won the Nobel Prize for uncovering exactly what the redox molecules did in the human body. And once that happened, many scientists and companies set about trying to produce and stabilize these redox signaling molecules outside of the human body. And this company's done it. It's very heavily protected, as I mentioned. It was 17 years in the making, and eventually took an atomic medical physicist called Dr. Gary Samuelson to come on board and stabilize these redox signaling molecules, and I'll talk about him in a second. I think the slide coming up is about Dr. Gary Samuelson. So patented the production process. There's 5 people in the world that know how to produce these redox signaling molecules. It will probably remain like that. It's very heavily guarded, you can imagine, protected, and is our intellectual property, and it is why we have such a huge opportunity as we deliver this to market. So this is the photos of the facility in Pleasant Grove, Utah, and we were there in October 2014. And the floor and the whole facility, you could eat off the floor. It is absolutely pristine and spotless. It really is an incredible facility, both inside the plant but also in the offices. The whole building is absolutely spotless. So, incredible. You should visit there one day. Next slide. Thanks, Stevie. So what's interesting about this is a company called BioAgilytix. Continuously verifies every batch that is produced by this company, by ASEA, certifies that the product is redox signaling molecules, stabilized redox signaling molecules. Interestingly, and I mentioned this before and I mention it again now, if you go to Google, if you do a Google search on ASEA, one of the things that will come up is that it'll say it's expensive salt water. And when this product, as it is in our human body, when they start the cycle of this production process, it starts its life as pristine salt and pristine water. And then it goes through a 3-day complete molecular restructuring to produce these redox signaling molecules, exactly as it does in the human body. But there's 3 very simple common sense tests you can use to establish very quickly and very clearly that it is not salt water. One is to do a test by putting some salt water into your right eye. Get some salt water. Many of you that have ever done this before, either at the beach or inadvertently, put salt water in one of your eyes. You know what I'm talking about. It'll weep. It'll be red. It'll really sting. So do that in your right eye, and then put some redox signaling molecules in your left eye. And I promise you will feel the difference. Your left eye will be soothed and refreshed, and your right eye will be sore and weeping and very, very sore. The second test, of course, is how did a company get 49 overlapping patents on salt water? How would you go to the American US Patents Office and say, look, I'd like to get patents on this, please? I mean, it defies common sense, but, people often go and they just read something and they think, well, it's true. So remember, Google is a search engine. It's not a research engine. But the third reason, of course, is this one here. This company, BioAgilytix, certifies that every batch is full of redox signaling molecules. and BioAgilytix, I'm not sure I mentioned just then, operates for 20 of the top 25 pharmaceutical companies in the world, and so is very well respected company. And they, of course, would not certify that every single batch is full of redox signaling molecules if it was not. So those are the three tests that you can use, common sense tests, to understand that what we have here is full of redox signaling molecules. Thanks, Stevie. So this is the gentleman that I was sharing with you before, Dr. Gary Samuelson, incredible human being. And when Danny and I went to meet with the executives in October 2014, I was sitting next to this gentleman, and he was the gentleman that made many statements, many comments about this technology that were kind of, I found were really incredible at the time. And of course, I was a greenhorn at that stage with regards to understanding any of this technology, but some of the information that he shared. And about 6 months ago, he was being interviewed, and one of the comments he made on that interview, and look, Dr. Gary Samuelson is not known to exaggerate. He's an incredibly humble man, incredibly clever man. And one of the comments he made on that webinar was, he believes this is the greatest medical breakthrough for the next 100 years to come, not the 100 years past, 100 years to come. So he says here, this technology has the potential to spearhead the greatest advances in health we have ever seen. So it is an incredibly significant, disruptive cellular health technology. Thanks, Stevie. So we'll just skip through this. So this is the range of the skincare. We've kind of covered that just now. So this is an interesting photo. This is a gentleman, a US chiropractor, and we call him the half-faced man because he wanted to show or feel if the product actually did do what we suggest it does. And so he applied the Renew 28, the topical gel, just to one side of his face. If you just click one little bit on Steve, you can see. So you can look at the difference between the right-hand side of his face, where he's, of course, used the Renew 28, and the left-hand side of his face, it'll be the left-hand side of our screen, right? But on the right-hand side of his face, he used the Renew 28. But also have a look at the angle of his glasses. If you can see, it's almost like he's had a facelift on the right-hand side of his face and pushed the glasses up, and on the left-hand side, it's almost like he's got like Bell's palsy. It's almost like the face has dropped. He's since started using the product on both sides of his face just to even it up a little bit. But it's very visible, very descriptive. When you look at that, you can clearly see the difference that the product does in a relatively short period of time. This was after 30 days. Thanks, Stevie. Again, so if you look at this gentleman, very fast results. Renew 28 twice a day for 3 days, then once a day for 3 days. And so some people do respond to this incredibly quickly. We have a protocol, generally 10% of people will respond in the first week, 30% will respond in 30 days, 60% will respond in 60 days, 90% in 90 days, but then 10% respond even a little bit later than that. So I have a dear old auntie, she's 87 years of age, and 4.5 months after she started drinking the supplement, she had a major health breakthrough. So everybody's a little bit different, but most people will see results in 90 days. So coming onto a product like this, we're very, I wouldn't say strict, but we really encourage people to go 90 days. The last thing we want is somebody to say, look, give me a one bottle or a half a bottle, and let's see what that does. It's not fair on the product. It's not fair on the technology to do that. So the protocol on this is really to be fair to the product and to fair to you and your health is to use the product for at least 90 days. Thanks, Stevie. So I mentioned this young man before. You can imagine how many extra dates he's getting now, and you know the differences in his self-esteem. You know, changing the appearance of his face like that for a young man who's dealing with the situation that he had on the left-hand side of the screen is phenomenal. So you can imagine how excited he is by the change that's occurred with his skin. So fantastic evidence again of what the Renew 28 can do. Thanks, Stevie. So this is interesting for me. This was the reason that I went to Salt Lake City to look at this technology with Danny Doyle in 2014. I had suffered with this skin condition for a number of years, 43 years, and had spent probably somewhere between $50,000 and $100,000 of my own money trying to rid myself of this condition. And so this was the reason that I went. This lady here, I understand, completely gone. Stevie, can you still hear me? I just came up, my internet signal is unstable. Can you still hear me okay?
Yeah, just then you're pretty sketchy, but we got you back now.
Right, terrific. Yeah, it's just my internet just went a little bit unstable. Thanks, Stevie. Next picture, please. Next slide, please. So just another evidence. This lady can see some I guess, blemishes on her face on the left-hand side of the screen, and you can see on the right-hand side of the screen they've all but gone. But also have a look at her neck. You can see on the left-hand side of the screen on the neck the lines there that have just about totally disappeared on the right-hand side of the photo. A lot of people miss that because our eyes are immediately drawn to the square, to the box. But another very impressive result of the benefits of these molecules, redox signaling molecules. Thanks, Stevie. So we have clinical studies with the Renew 28. Stevens and Associates is a US-based company, and Dermatest is a German company. And so we have a 5-star rating by Dermatest, and Dermatest will not give a 5-star rating to any product where any one of the participants has any adverse effect on the product at all. So the results on the left, which were conducted by Stevens and Associates, is on the Renew 28. There's a 4-week study. And so 50% increase in blood flow. You can see the figures there, 23% improvement in skin smoothness, 23% in wrinkle depth, 20% improvement in elasticity. And let me say again, no toxicity. We have no toxins in these products. So you can use these completely safely. You can use them as much as you like, can't be allergic to them. And incredible results from a technology that is completely non-toxic. On the right-hand side, this is the more powerful, more concentrated Renew Advanced. And you can see the results clearly there this is from Dermatest, 100% improvement, fine lines, 95% in smoothness, and 85% increase in radiance, 92% photo aging. So these are clinical trials proven. In fact, 90% of the respondents that were using the products post the trial said, look, I want to use these products, I want to buy these products, which is fantastic. This is what we deliver to market. So people can see the results and they stay with the product. Once you see what the product does and the technology does and no toxicity, very, very sticky. People tend to stay with our products. Thanks, Stevie. Okay, so this is really the marquee product we have, the redox signaling molecules, the supplement to the drink. The livery of the bottle has changed now. It's now a dark blue, but the product is identical. Now, what's interesting is you can actually physically see from the photos and the evidence of what the Renew 28 does on the outside. So you can imagine what this product does, which is redox signaling molecules on the inside. It's harder to see that. You can't really go into your body and have a look at the reduction in the wrinkles on the inside of your body, but it's the same product. So you can understand exactly what the redox molecules do from the inside out as the Renew 28 does on the outside in. So here's some of the things that most people report when they start taking the product. Less fatigue, better sleep, improved health, improved mood, and less discomfort. And so sometimes it depends on the dose that you take, but if you've been on the product for a week or so and you don't feel that it's making an improvement, just increase your dose until you do. Just keep doing it. You will notice it, whether it's on a maintenance dose or if you double the maintenance dose. At some stage, you will definitely feel the difference in your fatigue levels will reduce and improve sleep and definitely improve moods as well. A lot of people who suffer from kind of anxiety issues really respond incredibly well with this technology. Thanks, Steve. So athletes, we have a lot of leading athletes, as I mentioned before, that will take to this product for endurance, strength, recovery, mental stamina. I'm not sure if Pat is on this webinar, and I hope it's okay to share this, but Pat is a lady who has been running marathons and for some time, and started taking the redox molecules about 2 months ago, and ran a marathon either last weekend or the weekend before, and improved her time. This lady is 50 years of age, improved her time by 15 minutes. And when they told her what her time was, she said, no, look, that just can't be right. And she said, can you check it, please? They checked it. And they said, yeah, that's definitely right. This was the time. And again, 15 minutes less than her personal best. And she said, look, I just don't believe that. Can you do it again, please? Can you test it again? 3 times that she got them to test the results. And the other problem she'd had last year was she had to walk the last, a couple of kilometers because one of her knees kind of locked up, was causing problems. She ran the whole event this year. So just phenomenal results from people. that are athletes that want to recover. You can imagine some professional sports people that are paid very high incomes. We have a gentleman in America who plays gridiron, who's starting to use the product and having phenomenal results. He's contracted at $7 million US dollars a year to play gridiron. You can imagine just using this product, it brings him back if he's injured, but it brings him back one game sooner, what that's worth to the club. Having their elite performers on the paddock, on the pitch and playing, rather than being off, taking too much time to recover before they get back on the ground again. So it's exactly why many athletes are taking to these sensational products. Thanks, Stevie. But also for all of us just doing life, most of us are, busy doing life, and also we're looking for extra energy and vitality as well. Even if we're not athletes, but we still do life, so most of us are looking for extra energy as well. Thanks, Stevie. So here's a number of different athletes, just lots and lots of different. Brie Larson at the top, an Olympic athlete. Somewhere around here be Cody Miller and Eddie Hall, the world's strongest man. Dexter Yates, she's a triathlete. I think she's 73, 74, number one. I think she's number one in the world now, Dexter Yates. Tremendous ambassador for this technology, for this company. Thanks, Stevie. Just watching my time. Just punch on through a couple more here. This is I want to just share with you this. Is a report from Huffington Post from about June of 2016. And Huffington Post is the number one online newspaper in the world. Many of you probably have heard of the Huffington Post. And in June of 2016, they produced this article. Here are 5 of the craziest game-changing technologies that are starting to take off in 2016. Pay attention, some of these will shape our lives in the coming years. Organic electronics, nutrigenomics, synthetic biology, and redox signaling technology. Now, I want to mention again, there is only one place in the world that you can buy, you can acquire, you can get redox signaling molecules, and that is through this company. You're not able to get them anywhere else in the world other than through ASEA. Redox signaling molecules have been around for eons, but it isn't until recently that we've learned about their central importance in our health on a cellular level. New technologies emerging that inserts healthy redox signaling molecules into your body, helping to repair and replenish your aging cells. Since we are made up entirely of cells, between 75 and 100 trillion cells, every organ in the body can potentially benefit from this new technology. So this is the amazing technology that the world at large is now starting to hear about and understand. Thanks, Stevie. Okay, so let's just go into a little bit about the business plan. So this is a referral-based business. So exactly as you would refer somebody to a really good restaurant or a really good movie, it's exactly the same with this. We are paid on, ultimately we're paid on volume, and so we introduce people, refer people into this business. And there are many ways of doing that. Some people refer people who are suffering with a health challenge. They might be an athlete. Or you might know people who are ambitious, entrepreneurial, and recognize the unique nature of this technology, driving this to market, and the massive potential that we have as we deliver a disruptive technology with no competitor in the space into the world market over the next 5 to 10 years. You can imagine the volumes that will be created. And so different people will be attracted to this for different reasons. And oftentimes what will happen if people come to this, I know many of the key leaders with this company around the world that came to it only for health reasons, but once they had their health challenge sorted, resolved, they felt an obligation then to take this to the market. Many of them have done that. I know many of the key leaders around the world that have done exactly that have delivered this to market, built massive organizations as a result of their own personal health breakthrough. You may be one of those. So there are many ways to onboard people into this business. Thanks, Stevie. So if you refer your contacts to us, you will be paid every time they use the products, month after month, year after year. And of course, those people then refer people, and we're a global business. So you'll have organizations, you build this, people know people in different countries. In my own situation, I have organizations growing in many parts of the world now. And most of those people I've never met, but it's just word of mouth. It just spreads, and it's the best way of delivering a technology product that's to market. So you get paid from your contacts refer. Ultimately, we're paid on volume. If people say, well, how are you remunerated? We're remunerated on turnover. So if you have an organization of 10 people, you'll not earn as much as somebody who has an organization of 10,000 people, or as much as somebody who's got an organization of 100,000 people. So we are rewarded on volume. As we create and develop organizations that run volume, we are remunerated. So the better we do that, the better we are able to generate volume through the organizations we build, the greater the income that we can earn. And the income potential from this model is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. But it's based on effort. It's free enterprise. This is not a capital-based business. You don't need to be wealthy to do this. I'll show you in a minute that you definitely don't need to be wealthy. Anybody can on board with this, open an account. It's very simple. It's very expensive, but it is based on free enterprise. So if people wait at home and wait for the phone to ring, it doesn't work. It's really about contacting people, connecting with people, picking up the telephone or connecting with on social media. I'm not very good at that, but I'm very happy to pick up the telephone and call somebody and share this with them. And so this is what we do. We create these distribution channels around the world. Thanks, Stevie. Next slide, please. So this is how we begin. So it starts with you, and then you introduce other people. You're looking for entrepreneurs. As you build this business, one of the things I do is I look for key people. As I would build any other business, any other traditional business, I'm looking for my board of directors. And so I look for people who are ambitious. I look for people who are entrepreneurial. I look for people that understand this window of opportunity, the unique nature of delivering redox technology to the world, and those people that are motivated to generate a substantial income. And excuse me. So that's who I look for specifically, is the board of directors. So I look for my board of directors. People often ask, what do you really do? I said, in a way, I'm probably a headhunter. I just look for entrepreneurs, key entrepreneurs that look at this and like I did, and understand the significance of the breakthrough and the opportunity that it brings for you and I to take a technology to market that has no competitor. It's unbelievable. So right place at the right time with the right company, it is an incredible timing for all of us. But not everybody's looking, so understand that as well. So you may contact somebody who's really happy doing what they're doing. I've contacted people who work for the public service, and they don't make a huge amount of income, but they're incredibly happy. That's fine. That's their life. And each of us is free to choose and decide on the life and the lifestyle that we want for ourselves and for our families. So ultimately, your organization, as I mentioned, will span the globe. You've seen from the picture before that we are only in 32 countries right now. If I was showing you this in another 3 years or 5 years, I don't doubt that we'll be in 60, 70, 80 countries. So plenty of future growth. So you can grow your distribution organizations in Europe and the United States and Asia. Of course, Asia is the big one. Most of us in Australia, because it's called Australasia, so it's our connectivity. People in Europe tend to know people in Europe. People in Americas tend to know people in Americas. But people in Australia are well connected into the Asian region. That's why it is called Australasia, with almost a half of the world's population on our doorstep. So we have the biggest chunk of the world market on our doorstep to come. So it's your business. What you do is what you choose to do is completely up to you. Everybody's different. There's a smorgasbord. Business is starting to do part-time. Part-time, as you get rolling into a business like this, of between 10, 15 hours a week, 10, 12, 15 hours a week. But it needs attention, and it needs that attention on a disciplined basis, week in, week out. If you kind of come to this once in a while, treat it like a hobby, it'll probably reward you like a hobby. If you treat it like a business, it'll pay you like a business. If you treat it like a big business, it'll pay you like a big business. In fact, there are many people that are generating very significant incomes from this company. Many large corporations would like to be earning some of the incomes that some of the key leaders and developers of this business are earning without any overhead. They have no overheads, they have no stock staff, no fixed premises. It is a truly amazing opportunity. As in any business, cost of getting started, your business here is $60. That's a good thing, and it's not a good thing. $60 is good because it's easy for everybody to do, but it's also easy for everybody not to do. If you put in 6 million, people would treat it more like a real business. If you treat it like a $60 million business, then a lot of people would probably be more active. Let me put it that way. So, but it's not capital based. It doesn't rely on capital. We're not looking for people with capital. We look for people that are entrepreneurial and people that are free to enterprise, prepared to put the effort and put the work in. Various packages you can get rolling with. I won't go through all of those, but I will say this, that these packages, these entrepreneur packs and packs are available when you open your account. So I can't go back in and buy one of these now. I can't go back in and take advantage of the free product, the free samples and and benefit from that. This is only available for new associates as they onboard. Thanks, Stevie. So generous compensation plan, I won't go through all of these, but let me just praise you what I've said before, and that is we're paid on volume. The more volume that you create, the more income that you will create. So that's exactly how it works. There are the strategies to do this. The person that invited you to listen in on this webinar can go through those with you. It's not a complicated business. It really is not. It really is just about connecting with people. And look, here's the bottom line. Some people will say yes, and some people will say no. Exactly like they do with any other business. If you're a plumber or a carpenter and you go out and quote 10 jobs, you don't get 10 jobs. You'll get 3 jobs. You'll get 4 jobs maybe. Exactly the same with this. We're just looking for people who are open to looking for something else, open to looking for more income, to change their lifestyle. Many people are onboarding because they see this as a way of developing an exit strategy in a relatively short period of time. And to be able to change their lifestyle, to do the things maybe they can't do now. It's the opportunity to have, the time to enjoy the money and the money to enjoy the time. And that's what residual income does for us, is to give us the freedom to be able to choose. There are many other rewards associated with developing this business. I mentioned in the webinar before, my heritage is Scottish. If there's a free trip, I want to go. So we have many trips, and we were on a great trip late last year. I took one of my sons to Panama. And it wasn't a place that I ever really had on my wish list to go to, but incredibly glad that I did go. It was all complimentary. We stayed in a beautiful hotel and have the opportunity of seeing the Panama Canal, and the old city of Panama was incredible. And these rewards, these trips are put on for those of us that do what we're doing anyway. We're building our organizations and our businesses anyway, and these are simply incentives to help us along the way to, I guess, encourage us to keep doing what we're doing. And you will love them. We've got one running in Australia at the moment. You can talk to the person that invited you for the next 3 months. It finishes at the end of September. And for those of us that qualify for that, there's a trip to Vanuatu at the end of November, December, complimentary, all paid. And just a reward for doing what we're going to be doing anyway, which is to build our organization. So you will love these trips. You'll be taken around the world to different destinations. We just got back from Los Cabos in Mexico. Amazing resort. Everything was paid for. It was just fantastic. And again, Los Cabos was not really a place that was on my radar, but I'm ever so glad that we had the opportunity to go. It's just very exciting, and you will go on some amazing trips as you develop your organizations. Thanks, Stevie. So a little bit of professional training and how to do this. It's very simple. This is a good analogy on the right-hand side as you start to move up the mountain. And of course, as I mentioned before, the larger the organizations and the volume that you create, the more the income that you will generate as you go along. And let me just give you a couple of examples of the kind of income. So you can see there, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps up, there's a level called Bronze Executive. And a Bronze Executive that is in what we call the Executive Momentum Pool will generate somewhere between $2,500 and $3,000 per month. Now, how fast and how long does that take? I've had people in my organization that have done that in 3 weeks. I've had people in my organization that have not done that in let's say 2 years. It really depends on the application. It really depends on how eager you are to get there. It depends on your work ethic. It depends on your consistency. There are definitely some keys involved in being able to put this together, but anybody can do it, and they are all learned. I had to learn many years ago how to build this. I learned from people that had gone before me, and we have people that have climbed the mountains and this mountain before us, and we're just following in their footsteps. the platinum executive level, you can see there, a good platinum in this country will earn somewhere around $10,000, $12,000 a month. And most people that are generating that kind of income, it's probably around the time that you might think about, if you've got a job that you don't particularly like, that you might be able to leave the job, be free from the job. Now, if you love your job, you could still do it. You could still do that. That's up to you. So the opportunity here is a smorgasbord. Some of you on here would be delighted to be making an extra $500 a month, and that's fine. You can do that. And some of you on this call here on this webinar would like to be earning an extra $500 an hour, and that's available as well. Now, it's common sense and it's free enterprise that if you want to generate $500 an hour, you will do more work than the person that wants $500 a month. And there it is. And what do? We just keep repeating the same basics. It's not complicated. We just keep repeating. We keep looking for the right people, connecting with the right people, talking to lots of people. And some people want to build it and some people don't. And once you kind of get that, and once you kind of understand that, it's really not that complicated. But it is free enterprise, and the income potential here is massive. 50% of all the profits are returned to us, the people that are developing this business. So very exciting opportunity commercially as well. Thanks, Stevie. So we get the virtual office. We won't go through that, but as part of your $60 when you open your account, you get these. And I'll just say this: the virtual office is very easy to run. I'm not high tech at all, but the virtual office is very, very easy to run. It's very user friendly. And it's fantastic. So we get that as part of our enrollments. So it's incredible. So again, I won't go through these. Talk to the person that invited you about the packs you can come on with, but just remember that's only available as you enroll. So if you enroll now and you want to go back and acquire one of those couple of months, it's only available for new people. So we'll see. We'll become one of the biggest companies. Absolutely. In fact, there was a comment that when we were in the boardroom in 2014, Virgis Norton made. He said, people really understood this technology, we'd be bigger than Apple overnight. And I absolutely agree. Now, because we're a category creator, disruptive technology, it needs some explanation. It needs people to really understand how this technology works and how significant the breakthrough is. But we are moving incredibly quickly. This organisation that emanates out of Australia is actually the fastest growing organisation in the world right now. And so by being involved in this organisation, it's a very exciting time for many of us. So I hope that through the course of the information I'm sharing with you and other information that the person invited you might be sharing with you, that you do come on board and join us on this incredible journey as we take this to the world. Thanks, Stevie. So in summary, CERA is the biggest and fastest growing company, Redox Technology. Well, it's the only one. So we're the only company in the world that has this, very protected, heavily protected by patents. So I think now 300,000 associates around the world. And we'll go on and share some figures with you in a second. But I think the forecast is that we'll over $100 million in sales last year and to $1 billion in 5 years. I personally, I think it'll be quicker than that, especially as we start moving into Asia. I think it'll be much quicker than that. So established in 30 plus countries, expanding over 50 in the next few years. Less than 1% of the population, the open markets know about us. So that doesn't include the markets that aren't open. So there'll be less than 1% of the people in the countries that don't know anything about this technology yet. We'll have over 1 million associates in the next 5 years. We've got 300,000 now. I think that figure is very shy, but let's say it's 1 million. So of the million associates that will potentially come into the ASEA business in the next few years, how many of those would you like in your organization? Would you like 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 200,000? It really depends on how well you establish your organization, your business, and how hard you work and how long you go for. So it's a smorgasbord, as I mentioned before. You take out of this exactly what you want. Thanks, Stevie. So your reward is a percentage of the revenue in your distribution channels as a recurring compensation for all future business. Exactly. We get paid on volume. So the greater the volume we create, the more income we will generate. So let's just go through this very, very quickly. I do apologize. I've got a bit over again. So you're looking to identify and refer to people who want to make some changes right now. And that could be for changes in their health. For many, it's changes in their wealth. A lot of people are sick and tired of being sick and tired of kind of going home to work, work to home, work to work, and doing that for 50 years. It really doesn't work. And this is an alternative for people who are looking to maybe set up an exit strategy in the next 2 years, 3 years. Some people do it very quickly. Some people do it very, very, very fast. The gentleman in America in 14 weeks went from zero to $25,000 in 14 weeks. Now, so what did he do? Well, he sat at his desk at 6 o'clock and he finished at 9 p.m. He worked incredibly hard for 14 weeks, but he became a diamond in the business within that period of time. Fastest in the world so far. I don't doubt that somebody will do it quicker than that at some stage. So you can build it as you're at your own pace. Build it quickly. It is best to build something like this reasonably quickly. I always say to people, it's like taking off a Band-Aid. You can either take a Band-Aid off one hair at a time and enjoy the pain, or you can just get it off, just get it done. Much better just to get it done. Get it done quickly. Build it quickly. Build it with excitement, passion. And people like to follow people that are going somewhere. When people are on a mission, they know where they're going. People like to follow those people. So you can build a business or become a preferred customer. I would encourage you to develop the business with us. Excuse me. This is an interesting slide. It really represents when you get started. Avoid the emotional roller coaster. Build a business like this completely emotionally neutral. Some people are going to say yes to you, and some people are going to say no to you, and that's fine. That's just like I mentioned before with the quoting for the plumber. Don't be worried if somebody says no. If they're not looking, that's fine. If they're not looking for me, I'm not looking for them. What I'm looking for is people like me that are ready to go now, that understand this, looking for an opportunity, want to change some things in their life, better work for it, and I'll help them. Not everybody is, and that's fine. That's just the nature of commerce. That's just the nature of business. So if you can build it emotionally neutral, that's really important, that you just level it out. Avoid the mountaintops and avoid the valleys. They're both imposters. Just do the work. Just contact people, and enough people so you can build the organization that you want. Thanks, Stevie. So 3 types of people: red apples, green apples, and rotten apples. And we don't mean rotten apples as in rotten people. We just mean some people come to this, they're ready to go. The red apples look at this and I say yes. I like it when I share this with somebody and they kind of say to me, Mel, I don't really care what you're going to do. I know what I'm going to do. And they get on board and they run really fast. And I don't watch what they say. I watch what they do. And some people can build this incredibly quick. I'm often amazed just how quickly people can build this. The green apples are people that want more information. Fine, no problem. Ask the person that invited you to this to share the science. We want more validation on the science, the technology, information about testimonials. We have a lot of research now, a lot of validation, a lot of science, great research, science. Established last year from Tourette Laboratories. It's the latest research, I think, as a result of three-year research that shows what this technology does for genetic expression. Then the rotten apples, they're just people that are not really looking, and that's fine. This is not of interest to them, and that's fine, no problems at all. We just let those go. So if we move on to the next slide, but what you're looking for and what I look for is the red apples. I'm looking for people that look at this and say, right, that's what I'm going to do. So red apples will generally attract red apples. It's like monkeys produce monkeys, fish produce fish, and red apples will replicate. Red apples will know, they'll be attracted. There are laws, principle in our universe. We attract who we are. You get in life who you are. So if you're a red apple, you'll attract them. And that's kind of a principle of the way that we live and the way that our world is. So this is how you'd like your organization to look. So leaders on leaders on leaders. And that's what we're looking for. Let me just recommend this to you. If you are wanting to build this, if you are wanting to be amongst the biggest earners with this company in the world, there's not much, there's not really anything I would recommend that you do that would be potentially more significant than this. Because this is where you will learn from the best of the best. This is where you will learn from the people that have gone before you, me, that have been with this company for many number of years. So a lady called Trish Swankler will be speaking at this event. She's the #1 income earner in the world. She was a housewife from Boise, Idaho, incredibly down to earth. And she will be sharing at this convention, as will many of the other key leaders, global leaders. And I go there to learn. So I'm a student of this business. I don't kind of think that I know everything. I'm still very much learning how to improve, how to do this better. And I would recommend, if you want to be a significant income earner, and I'm talking about high 6 figures, 7 figures, then this is definitely something that would be of value to you, incredible value to you, to go and to learn exactly how to build this, but also to meet the owners of the company and also the key executives. It'll be very impactful for you, I promise you. Thanks, Stevie. So what now? Call the person who invited you and join us in the business. The earlier you do it, the better your position will be. So here's what's going to happen. Let me just share this in closing. There are people that you know, if you're on this call, this webinar for the first time, there are people that you know that will come into this business. If you don't find them, somebody will find them. They're going to become involved anyway. And so it's much better if you take a position and be the one that introduces those people, because some of them may lead to some very big hitters, some very big business builders. And so my attitude is I'm going to ask everybody, because I don't want to not ask somebody and somebody else does, and they become involved in somebody else's organization and build a very large organization. So that's kind of my attitude to it, is that the best time to build it is right now. This organization is growing incredibly quickly, and it is a great time to be involved in this business, delivering this amazing technology to market. I was sharing on the previous webinar, I won't see anything like this again in my lifetime. I won't see another opportunity like this in my life. If you're in your 20s, you may, but you may have to wait another 30 years. And my advice to you is don't wait. Jump on board now. Get on this train. It is an express train, and very exciting as we deliver this into Asia. So thank you very much. I appreciate you being on the webinar. I hope that this has helped you. And thank you very much, Stevie, for hosting again. Really appreciate it. Thank you for all you do for the organisation at large. And thank you very much for helping me out. As somebody who is relatively technically impaired. So I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Stevie, for all your help. And thank you, everybody, for listening. And if you do need more information, please get together with the person who invited you to this webinar this evening. Thank you very much. I'm losing my voice. Excuse me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mel. Your presentation is always incredible. Like I said, everyone, an industry genius. I got so much out of that. I know everyone on the call did. So thank you for your time, Mel. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks very much. Thanks, Stevie, and good night, everyone. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Bye.